Yes, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching this. By the way, this is a pre-record, so I have no idea what time you're going to be watching it where you are. Big up to the Irish Hotspur, who's coming on every week, and we're having a chat. We're seeing what's happening. And the beauty of this, Dave, welcome again. The beauty of this is Spurs are never dull. There's always a lot to talk about from one week to the next. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, look, I'm keeping well. I'm tired. My old lad seems to be walking the legs off me over the last couple of weeks. But, I was hoping with the season starting, things might die down a little, but it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Well, listen, we wouldn't want it to. It's Spurs. We're content creators. This is what we do. Look, a couple of things I want to talk about today. As the title suggests, a mythical youth project. And I'm going to go into what I mean by that. And also transfer window surgery. We're at the stage now where all summer, I suppose you could say that you can manage whatever you need to do via antibiotics, so to speak. We're now at the stage where there's no time for those antibiotics to kick in. This is surgery. You either need surgery or you don't. So let's get into it. Dave, look, let's start. Not the start that any of us wanted, that any of us predicted. It truly was Spurs, wasn't it? It was 45 minutes of really happy with that, and 45 minutes of we went on Spursy. What did you make of Monday night, mate?
Look, I think the first half was absolutely exceptional, but I said at half-time, we need to take some of our chances early in the second half, or the same thing's going to happen that happened all last season. They'll get one counter, and they'll go and take that opportunity. That's ultimately what ended up happening. But where I get really annoyed is, Savva, okay, I think we're all at the stage now where we understand Postecoglou's tactics. He just wants to go and outscore the team. So we know we have to score at least 2 goals every single game to go and claim 3 points. But and that we are going to concede goals, and it's going to happen, with the way the Premier League is now, the way you can't really tackle and stuff like that, and they're creating rules to try and add more goals into games. They openly admit that themselves. So we are going to concede goals. However, where I get really annoyed is when we do concede that goal, we completely capitulated. And that to me shows the leadership group is not working, and maybe it's something that Ange really needs to revisit. You look at the goal, for instance, Romero, that guy. He had he had absolutely nothing to do up until that goal. And he just wandered off Jamie Vardy and completely left him free. And what we really lack across that back line, and I've heard you speak about before, Savva, is a guy that's vocal, a guy that wants to take command of that back line, be responsible for the other 3 players around him. Dictate them, pull them in positions. And that goal could have simply been easily avoidable if we had that guy in the team, which is what Romero is. He's the leader of that backline. Postecoglou appointed him leader of that backline. All he had to do was just turn around to Pedro Porro, get him to tuck in, get onto Jamie Vardy so that he could go, wherever he wanted to go. But he didn't do it. So it's an easily avoidable goal. And it really annoys me because the leadership across the backline is not happening. If Romero stepped up, we would probably actually concede less goals if he started taking command of that back line. You go into the midfield. James Maddison absolutely wilted, and he had a good game up until that point. But as soon as games get tough, and I've noticed this as a continuous team with James Maddison, he completely goes hiding when the ball's coming the other way. And I know it's not a part of his game, that sort of defensive and getting stuck in style. However, one area he could do is look to get on that ball, slow the game down a little bit and swing the tempo and the momentum back in our favor and calm things down. Again, vice captain, appointed leadership of that midfield. And with the young guys in and around him, it's even more important that he does that. And he doesn't. If he does that, we probably go on and win that game. And then lastly, into that forward line with Son, the captain. A very nice guy, Savva. Really nice guy. But me and you know, captaincy is more than just being well-liked. And my problem with Son is, again, he had a very good opening half too. Everything came down his way. And okay, he didn't get that assist or goal, but he was very threatening. Second half, especially when things got tough, he died again. But that guy needs to be on the pitch, and he needs to start berating players in the heat of the action where you can do something about it, and not when they're reviewing tape the next day, behind closed doors, when the game's already done and dusted. He needs to take accountability and leadership on the football pitch. And this guy's 32 years of age, and I hear a lot of people say he hasn't won trophies. It's Tottenham's fault. Okay, Tottenham takes some of the blame. He also has to shoulder a lot of the blame because, he's been a part of them dressing rooms, and he doesn't have that leadership to be able to pull players and drag them forward. And that's an area that Son really needs to get to grips with over this course and very quickly into this campaign, because if that leadership doesn't start doing that, It's going to put pressure on Pochettino coming up.
No, look, absolutely. And do you know what? I was having this conversation yesterday with someone who's not on YouTube, right? And I said, do you know what I liken Spurs to? Spurs are almost like, I don't know if I've lost you, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're kidding me? Okay, yeah, your camera's gone a bit funny. But I almost liken it to, I don't know if anyone's seen the Rocky IV film, right? Where Ivan Drago, Rocky can't get near him. He can't lay a punch on him. And I almost feel like that is Spurs in first halves of games, right? Where we are superior, we're not going to concede. It's almost like when teams get that first goal against us, like Leicester did Monday night, it's like that moment in the Rocky film where Rocky gets a punch in about round 5 or 6 and cuts him. And Ivan Drago looks and goes, oh my God, I'm human. And Rocky goes, oh my God, he's human, right? And suddenly starts going at him. And you saw that, like you said, we concede a goal and we just capitulate. Now, that's not negative. That's not horrible to say. We capitulate. And Leicester City, for that 10 minutes after the goal, just looked like they were going to go on and grab more. And somebody made a really good point. And look, we never wish injury on anyone, and I hope Bentancur gets better soon. But that Bentancur injury, when he was down for 8-9 minutes, actually stopped the tidal wave of attacks from Leicester City. And to go to your point, to incorporate everything, during those 8 or 9 minutes, when Bentancur's down, Dave, that's where I want to see my leaders gathering everybody. That's where I want to see my manager gathering his leaders, the leaders gathering everyone on the pitch and going, focus. Like, do you know what I mean? Let's get a grip back in this game. And it doesn't seem to happen. It seems like we're all very nice, Dave. It's nice. And when it's going well, it's lovely. Soon as it's not going well, I agree with you. I don't think there's any leaders at this football club that can bring it back to a safe place.
No, 100%. Look, with Postecoglou, the way he likes to manage is he does like the players to take responsibility. However, if you're going to manage like that, that's where you have to make sure you have your leadership group absolutely spot on. And this, for me, is maybe an area where I think Ange Postecoglou might need to reassess very, very quickly if this continues to happen, or it will come back to haunt him, unfortunately. And I hope it doesn't, because I really like the guy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I agree with you, but the problem is he's not actually buying any leaders either, is he?
Yeah.
And this is we'll segue into the conversation about the youth, because if you keep buying youth, it's all well and good if we all want to sit there and if we want to do the positive side of this and go, oh my God, they're all going to be breathtaking in 3, 4, 5 years. That's great. Problem is, in the interim, where's the leadership for them? Who are they learning off? Where's those youngsters, it doesn't matter how good they are. I don't care if you're Kobe Mainu, who's playing week in, week out for Man U, right? I don't care if you're these young players. You need a leader in that team to go, oi, come here. I know you're bloody brilliant, but you've got to mark your man there. You've got to drop in here. You need that leadership. And look, this is what I want to talk about. Again, we know the window, Dave. I don't want to go over every signing, but we know the window. We've signed a lot of youngsters. And it feels to me that this narrative of a youth project seems to be something that the fans have kind of invented, rather than Ange actually saying this is a youth project. And this is where I think there's the disparity. Ange is talking about winning mentality. Ange is talking about, I'm not here to win things in 4 years. I'm here to win things now. The signings are suggesting we're building a youth product. But then in the middle of that, in the middle of Ange, in the middle of the signings, you've got your match day squad in the middle. And Dave, when you looked at that match day squad, I'm going to give you some facts. You saw my facts earlier this week. I've got some more. I like my facts. Spurs 11 versus Leicester, the average age, right? I'm not saying this is old, but the average age versus Leicester was 25.2 years of age, right? And the average age on the last day of last season against Sheffield United was 25.1. So it's 0.1 older. My whole point is it's the same age. So everyone says we put this youth squad together, we're going young. It's the same age as the last game of last season, which is pretty much our main squad. If we then look at the average age of the squad for the actual 25-man squad on the last day of last season, the last day of this season, and the first game of this season, Leicester City, we had a 24.7 age group. and Sheffield United is 24.1. So it's actually not really moved. It's not moved. And from that, bear with me, from that, there were, again, I hear youth project, youth. From the 20-man squad on Monday night, do you know how many players were 21 and under?
2.
4, right? 4. Now, one is Papa Sarr, who is 22 in 3 weeks. So it's like he's hanging on in there. But again, Papa Sarr's been playing pro football for about 4 seasons now, 2 in the French league and 2 in the Premier League. The other one was Adogi. Again, 21, 20, whatever he is. Didn't have a great game, but that's not the point. And has played 2 pro seasons in Italy, 1 Premier League season, and now this is his 2nd Premier League season. The only 2 teenagers in the squad were Gray and Bergvall. So my question to you is, Dave, is this a youth project or is it not? Because for me at the moment, it seems very much that youth project, and this is where a lot of people are going to hate me in this video. It seems to me that the words youth project are actually being misconstrued for shit window and not signing quality players. We're not signing quality players, so we go, but it's a youth project. No, sign your top players. So I've spoken a lot. I'll let you go.
Yeah, look, when it comes to this youth project, I do think it is a youth project to a degree. Now, look, some may have positioned or coined that position off the base of this window. But I've always said we've got a lot of great talents coming through. I've been consistent with that all last year and stuff like that. And I do think we are going to, this is what we are undertaking. We've handed a lot of them long-term contracts, which means Tottenham do see them coming through at some point. But also, when you look at the rest of the squad that we filled outside of the 11, we brought in Udebar, Gray, Bergvall. You know, we are bringing in youngsters to fill the rest of that squad out. So there is a bit of a youth project going on here. However, where I worry is that we're going too far down one route. And I think we're more trying to get the squad ready for when Pep Guardiola leaves Man City, which is in a year or two, rather than actually go and compete this season, which is what Ange Postecoglou has said that he wanted. Now, I was on here last week and I said, I'm not convinced every signing that we've made is Ange Postecoglou's, because of the way the scouting department works. But we are going down this youth project. And I do get what you're saying about the squad on the weekend. However, when the games, we don't need to rush to be able to bring more of these guys into that squad. When the games come in thick and fast in October, November, December, January, you suffer injuries, suspensions like we do every single season. And you're looking for rotation as well because you're in, all 4 cup competitions. That's when I think you will start seeing the likes of Mikey Moore, who was left out of the squad and had a blinder for the under-21s the other night, by the way. Hopefully he's back in the squad ahead of Brendan Johnson this weekend. And Will Lancashire, who scored an absolute screamer, and showing Richarlison and Dominic Solanke how to finish. So I do think their opportunities will arise more as the campaign goes on. And that's where you see more of these youngsters come in. However, we have missed a trick this window, and I've openly said this all summer long. I'm happy with the youth players that are coming in. However, you do have to sign some experienced players, some leaders to really sort of drag this team forward to where we want to go, and for them youngsters to learn off and also, help drag them forward. And I think we have missed a trick this window in terms of that. You look at the right wing situation, Udebar may very well be a fantastic player in a year or two's time. Yeah. But is he going to be good enough to drag us where we want to go and where Postecoglou, most importantly, has said he wants to go this season? Yeah. I'm not convinced by it. You look the other night, we brought youngsters off the bench. Did they impact the game as much as we wanted? No, I would argue maybe not. I found Bergvall a little bit disappointed. I thought he went into his shell, started passing backwards. But as the season goes on, you will see them come out of their shell more. But that's why it was important to bring in experienced players to allow them time. I agree. Rather than put all the pressure on them.
Dave, I agree. I mean, look, somebody sent me a great message the other night and said the thing is, what you don't want to be doing with your 18-year-olds is bringing them on to rescue you. The 18-year-olds should not be the ones coming on to rescue games. You'd rather start them and bring on some experience, right? Now, I agree with you. For me, if this window we had gone Bergvall, Odeber, and another young forward or whatever, if we had done that, or another young defender, and then we said, right, there's the 3 youth players and Gray, 3 or 4 youth players, but we signed a top quality winger, a top quality centre mid, and a top quality striker. And I can say, as a fan, yeah, look, from the 11, we've gone and made 3 to 4 positions immediately stronger. And look at some of the good youth we brought through. I would be comfortable. Yeah. And Dave, this isn't me saying this. At the beginning of the window, every Spurs fan I saw in your channel, you were saying it, I was saying it, everyone was saying, Andrew's got to be backed. We need a top midfielder. We need a top winger. We need a top striker. And I just don't think we've done any of it. And this is why when people go, oh, it's negative and it's a youth project. Someone I was talking to today said to me, you've got to remember this, right? We've brought in Bergvall. We've brought in Odegaard. I'll use those two for example, right? Let's chuck a Dogie in there as well, right? 3 young players. Let's say they turn out in the next year or two to be amazing. Hopefully they do. The problem you've got, Dave, is if you are constantly just buying youth, when they do turn out to be amazing in 2 years and Spurs haven't actually signed the quality to take the club further, the bigger clubs will come in and they'll go, Adogi, Bergvall, Odegaard, listen, look how good you are. Come and join Man City. Come and join Real Madrid. Come and join Bayern. And then our fans will sit here now and go, oh, don't worry about that. But that's what bigger clubs do. And the problem is those youngsters are going to look around and go, well, yeah, in 2 years, yeah, we've bought loads of kids and we might be exciting in another 3 years, but I'm a footballer. I don't know how long my career is going to last. Yeah. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Man City, they don't come around every day. They're going to leave, Dave. I don't want to be doom and gloom about it, but this is the problem. If you don't give them senior pros alongside them to show ambition, they will leave if you get them to that level.
Well, the thing is, I think people have to understand the era we live in. Players are no longer loyal to clubs at all. There's no loyalty in football anymore. No. Players, especially this day and age, this generation coming through, they want to win trophies as many as possible. Every single player that comes through, it seems to be the modern day mentality. So they're not going to settle at Tottenham Hotspur. For Real Madrid, come calling, we've seen it in years gone by. They're going to force their way out of this football club one way or another. For me, where I think we got this window completely wrong is, I think we were right to bring in a lot of youth and fill out the periphery of the squad. So then when we did suffer injuries and all, we can have these guys coming through rather than having a lot of old experienced head who have maybe lost their love for the game at Tottenham, filling the bench and letting us down like we have in years gone by. We got that part right. But what we got wrong is we didn't address the issues in the first 11. What we've done is we brought these guys in hoping that they're going to step in and address the issues in the first 11. And that's where they've got it absolutely horribly wrong for me. And that's where I think this season is going to be tough. I don't think, we're going to, I actually think we'll probably get 4th and finish inside the top 4. But there's going to be a lot of ups and downs on the journey.
You're a better man than me. You're a better man than me. I just don't see the experience to get us there. I don't see with more games in Europe, hopefully more games in the Cups. I can't see how this young squad that can't defend, I don't see how it gets 4th place. Look, we can agree to disagree on that one, Dave, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this is what Ange just said, right? Ange just said... talking about transfer business. He said, yeah, look, probably a couple more will go out, but we've done a fair bit of work over the last 12 months in terms of the squad. As much as the focus has been getting guys in, we've changed the squad a fair bit. We've brought down the demographic in a fair way. We've brought in footballers who are more suited to play the football we want to play moving forwards. Agreed. So there's been a lot of work done in that area from our perspective, but with a week to go, there's still a bit to do. Now, the reason I bring that up is he's just said that, by the way, is I want to show you this. Now, there's lots of talk that Van der Sar is coming in from Monaco. I think it's Monaco. Is it Monaco? Yeah, it's Monaco, right? There's lots of talk that Van der Sar's coming in. I don't want to go too deep into if he's a good player or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if Van der Sar comes in, first of all, it baffles me because you've kept Spence and Gray can play there as well. So you've now got Porro, who's going to play, right? Let's be brutally honest. None of those are taking Porro's position. So you've now got Porro, Spence, Gray, Van der Sar, if he signs. If, hypothetical, anyone watching this, hypothetical alert, right? And at the same time, you'll have 4 people who can play right back. But in the centre-back area, we've got three 3 first-team centre-backs, Davis, who by trade is a left-back, Ashley Phillips has just gone out on soak. So for me, what I don't get is, again, this kind of molds into the squad building, but the youth players. What I don't understand here, Dave, is it feels like we're heavily overloading in some positions, but again, not with great quality, but with just depth. Right back looks like we're going to go down that route. The wide areas looks like we've very much gone down that route. Midfield looks like we've gone down that route. And if this is a youth project, my next question is, sure, do it, right? Do it. Go down that youth project. Start Mikey Moore, right? Sure, start Bergvall, start Gray, right? Start Ashley Phillips. If this is a youth route, do that. But if this is a youth route, why is Ashley Davis going on loan? Ashley Phillips going on loan, but Ben Davis is being kept. If this is a youth route, then Ben Davis shouldn't be here. Why, if this is a youth route, is Jamie Donnelly out on loan and Mikey Moore not playing, but Timo Werner was signed to play there? This is where I can't make it work what we're actually doing in the squad building, no matter what Ange says. It just feels very lopsided.
No, look, look, first of all, let's start with Vanderson. That's not going to happen. We need Jed Spence to be kept around here so he can make the European quota when the draw comes out on the 30th next Friday. So Vanderson ain't coming in here, and Daniel Levy's not going to play 3 wages at right back. That's just not going to happen. So I think that squashes that rumor, to be brutally honest with you. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the youth project and some of the youngsters going out on loan, look, I think there's 1 or 2 that seen they were on the periphery and maybe were told they might have to wait for their chance up until October, November, December, when, the chances arise and the spaces on the bench arise, that they actually wanted to take care of their own personal progression, go out on loan and play senior football. So there is that element to it. And if that is the case, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing the manager can really do about that. He can't really stand in the way. Now, in terms of someone like Ashley Phillips, I just think it's because he's not good enough on the ball for what Postecoglou wants. I think physically, the guy can handle it. But can he play consistently out from the back the way Postecoglou wants? And I'm not quite so sure on that one. I think that's one area, especially looking at him and tracking him on loan last year at Plymouth, that maybe he let himself down in. So I think that's probably why he's been sent out on loan. But people forget that Alfie Dorrington is still around this football club. He is still trying to recover from his hamstring surgery and stuff like that. But Postecoglou was very impressed with that guy last season from what he's seen from him. And if people take their mind back to that January, he loaned out Ashley Phillips before Dorrington even picked up that hamstring injury and was keeping Dorrington around. So maybe that shows.
Didn't give him a single minute though, did he? But even when we had defensive injuries, Dave, Dorrington, I mean, listen, we've seen Klopp will give young players minutes. Yeah. Man United will give loads of players minutes. Chelsea, City. It was only Ange that wouldn't. It was only, and the thing is, he's the manager that's got the excuse to do it, Dave. We're in a youth project. So if you play the youngsters, you see what I'm saying? I'm just at conflict of, is it a youth project or is it not? I don't know what we are.
I understand what you're saying, and I do understand the confusion. I think last season we have to understand that he came in here, despite us knowing what a lot of them old squad players on the periphery were going to do when they stepped in here. He has to give them that opportunity. And he openly said, I'm going to give everybody that opportunity. Since then, he's learned from his mistakes. And I think now coming into this season, I do think once the games start picking up thick and fast and the squad starts diminishing through whatever reasons, you will see these guys come in. Because this season, he has absolutely no reason not to turn to them. Last season, you can maybe understand it because he didn't really get to see too much of them in preseason and stuff like that. However, he bought them on preseason tour. He knows exactly what they can do and their capabilities. So when the going does get tough and the opportunities arise, he has no excuse to turn for them. But at the end of the day, it's all hypothetical. We can only sit here, wait and see when that moment arrives. Does he turn to them guys? But I would urge, and I've said this all last season, if Postecoglou wants some grace from the Spurs fan base to be able to build this, he needs to turn to that academy. That's what Pochettino done very early on. I think it was a game against Aston Villa came up when Harry Kane saved his career. He turned to the youth. He completely ousted the likes of Adebayor, players like that, and turned to the academy so that they would start doing what he wanted to do. And at some point, Postecoglou's going to have to do that. He does that. he'll buy himself grace. First of all, he has to get over this next fixture, tricky fixture this next month that's coming up. Because if we don't win tomorrow, the pressure's on him over the next 4 games.
Mate, I did a video on this yesterday, and all of a sudden Everton becomes must-win. Because the games afterwards are going to be a lot tougher than the 2 we've just had. And let's be brutally honest. If you can't win one of your first 2 games against Everton or Leicester, there are issues. I don't care what anyone says. Listen, by the way, a lot of people, I knew what would happen. We wouldn't, I knew if we didn't beat Leicester, people would go, oh, it's only 1 game. Sure, it is only 1 game. But the problem is it's carrying on from a poor end to last season. And that's the problem, right? At some point, he's got to nip this in the bud and get some form. Now, can you get form when your next 3 or 4 games are going to be Man U, Arsenal, Brentford, Newcastle, followed by Brighton, West Ham? It's really tough, and that's what being a manager is about. Look, Dave, I wanted to show you, right? So far, I think that Ange has made, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he's made 15 to 16 signings in one way or another as manager. This is my worry, right? This is my worry. When people talk about, oh, look what he's done to the squad and where we were to where we are. These 5, I would argue, are the 5 that he's brought in that he sees as absolute first-team starters when fit. I don't think anyone can argue with the first 2. I don't think anyone can really argue with Maddison, to be brutally honest with you.
We all wanted him when he signed.
Yeah. Solanke is going to be our number 1 striker. And whatever we think of Brennan Johnson, he starts Brennan Johnson come rain or shine. Now, when you look at those 5, here's the other 10 to 11 that he signed. This is my worry. When I look at that group of players, Dragoshin, doesn't matter. People keep talking about how good he is and he's going to get a chance. He's not getting games. He's been at the club 9 months now. He's not getting games unless one of the other 2 get injured. Odegaard is a kid. I can't imagine him being out and out first choice. I think he's going to be in and out. Solomon, who he signed,
that's not his. That was Levy.
Well, sure, but I'm just talking about under his.
Yeah, okay.
Under his guys, right? Solomon looks like he's going to leave and has done nothing. Gray, a kid. Phillips has done nothing. Now going on loan again. Valise, now on his 2nd loan. Bergvall, kid. Werner, don't get it. Yang,
that's his
kid in Korea. We probably won't see a lot of him this season, right? Vuskovic, slightly harsh me putting him in there because he's a 16, 17-year-old. But again, another one brought in. And Kulu, who was not an obligation to buy, it was an option. He signed it off. We bought Kulu. My worry is, if you look at that, from what we've signed, only these ones, and really, let's take out Johnson because he is, I'm going to call it, he is shit. He is shocking. He's upskilled 4 positions on the pitch, on the 11. That's my concern, Dave. Porro was already here. The doggy was here. Romero was here. Basuma. Sarr was here. Bentancur was here. Son was here. Richie was. This is what he's done to strengthen us in 3 transfer windows. This is not good enough.
This is where I feel sorry for Postecoglou. And let me explain why, Savva, is because when he took the job, I think the remit was already started with Paratici here, with some of the young signings they were already making and some of the long-term contracts they handed out to the under-21s before Postecoglou even arrived. The club were already undertaking that youth aspect, that youth project. And I feel when Postecoglou came for the interview, it was more so getting a guy that would fit in within that remit and be happy if Tottenham were continue to make them signings. So that's, I think, partly why he got the job. And I think he's okay to do it because he was dying for a Premier League job. So I think he's going to work with that. But if we can bring back up them signings just quickly.
Yeah. Which ones do you want?
Just bring up the first list and we'll get on to the second list. When you look at Vicario, Van de Ven, I think 100% his signings. Maddison, we've tracked that guy since the guy was 20 years of age. That's a long-term target for Tottenham Hotspur. So I wouldn't put that one 100% on Postecoglou. I think Solanke's his. And Johnson, I do think it's his. However, Tottenham are tracking him again before.
Sure, but he's been very vocal about Johnson, hasn't he? He's been very vocal about Johnson.
I'm going to concede
and that worries me.
I'm going to concede that one because he keeps playing him. So I do think he really likes him. Let's go on to the second list. Now, Dragusin, again, I think his. Odegaard, not 100% sure on that. We'll wait and see. Solomon was a Daniel Levy signing, trying to profit off war, right? That's what he was doing there. Archie Gray, okay.
Hang on. Everybody, there's the soundbite for this show. Profit off war. There you go. There's the soundbite.
Archie Gray, look, some could say that's his. I might concede on that one. Ashley Phillips, before Postecoglou arrived, we tried to get a deal done with Blackburn the summer before that. So again, I can't say that's 100% his. Felice, maybe. Bergval, maybe. Yang, that was a money signing to get our clause into South Korea and keep that money coming in. So that's more of a club signing. Voskovic, look, that's one again, I think is a club signing. We signed him at 16, knowing he wasn't coming here to 18. And Kulu was here under Conte, and we took the purchase up to buy him. So I don't think when you actually go through all them signings, I question how many of them are actually his. And this is what I was saying last week. So this is where I feel sorry for the guy.
I hear you, Dave. I hear you. But at the end of the day, when you've got a manager screaming and shouting into every microphone that all of these signings are my signings, whether he's just taking the heat off it or not, I'm going to hold him to his word. And the problem is, even if they're club signings or not, what is worrying is that from these 16 signings, you've got 5 first-team starters in 3 windows. So we're not even averaging 2 first-team starters a window. And by the way, 2 of those have been summer windows. It's not like he's had 2 Januaries. I'm not blaming him, by the way. This is a club issue, right? This isn't, Postecoglou, you're rubbish. This is a club issue for me. And that's why what I would have liked to have seen would have been 2 more names onto this. Yeah. 2 more names, a proper winger, a proper centre mid. And you go, all right, now you've changed 7 of that first 11. Now I see what we're doing. But at the moment, this window, let's call it for what it is, Dave. Other than Solanke, and we can have not me and you, but people can have the argument about how much better Solanke is than Richarlison. But that's what we've done to upskill our first 11 in a summer. Whilst teams like West Ham are actually buying for their first team. It's just come out just now that Romano's just said that West Ham are pushing to get the deal done for Carlos Soler of PSG, another experienced midfielder, while we're buying kids. And look, this is why I don't think we'll get 4th. If they do, I'll call it now. You can clip me. I know you would have. People can clip me right now. If we get 4th with this squad, I think Ange's done a phenomenal job. I just don't think we will. I think it's a lot of games and there's no experience. And unless they do something brilliant in this last week, I just can't see it. But look, Dave, just quickly before we wrap up, the news that broke about an hour or so ago before we filmed this, Dominic Solanke played 38 Premier League games out of 38 Premier League games for Bournemouth. You said it. This is your fault. You said it on one of your shows. I was just saying the other day, what's good about Solanke? He's always fit. He don't miss a game. Yeah. 190 minutes for Spurs, and he's injured for tomorrow. My question to you is this: what does Postecoglou do? Does he go like for like with Richarlison? Does Sonny go there and Odegaard or Werner come in left, or does he go with Kulu in the false 9? What do you think he does?
Look, me personally, I don't think Richarlison is fit enough to be able to get through a full 19 minutes. Possibly, so that's why I think you've seen him come off the bench. And ideally, I think he might be on the bench again. I don't think you'll see this guy start till maybe the transfer window's closed. I don't think they're going to risk too much of an injury with him, with Saudi maybe still potentially maybe sitting in the background waiting to pounce. I would like to see us go with Dejan Kulusevski. I thought he was very hard done by not to start against Leicester. I thought Postecoglou actually missed a trick, not feeding off his pre-season form. You look at Pedro Porro, one of the most, sharpest out there. Kulusevski probably would have been the exact same. And he done a good job for us up there in pre-season. So I would like to see Dejan Kulusevski come in. However, Ange Postecoglou did say the other day, with Solanke and Richarlison, that probably puts an end to Kulusevski being the striker at Tottenham Hotspur. So there's no guarantee. I think the most logical solution is what he might do is put Son up there and maybe bring in Odegaard, because I know he was training on the right-hand side in training.
Or
so
Werner.
core team of Werner, which is a concern. However, I also think it's a massive mistake. We're going at an Everton team who are going to sit low block, and it's the onus is going to be on us to be able to beat some players and create some opportunities, and create a bit of space for yourself. You put Son up front, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to lose what you have off the left-hand side in terms of that creativity, but also you're going to have no focal presence in the box against 6'4" lads. He's going to get swallowed up. Werner on the left-hand side is not good enough in terms of his end product, and neither is Johnson on the right. So he's got real problems in that front line. And look, that's why I said Tottenham need to address that proper this summer with clinical players, and we failed. So now we're asking Postecoglou to tinker with it to try and find the right solution. Let's wait and see what happens. I think it's hard to call, but do you know what? I would love to see Kulusevski.
Do you know, something you just said there, I didn't even think about really until you just said it, was when you look at the height of Everton, and we know what team, we know Everton aren't going to come and play us off the park, right? That's not their style. That's not their game. We also know that Everton have only got 14 first-team players fit to pick from. Like, there's never a better time, right? 14 first-team players. They've just been battered by Brighton. There's no excuses, Dave. This is 3 points. There's no excuses, right? But for me, this is where I think the difficulty is. Yes, Richie's not fit, but without Solanke, and if Richie doesn't play, you lose aerial prowess in our box as well. And the one thing you can say about Van der Ven and Romero, for all their talents, we're not very commanding in the air. Neither of them are. I mean, they should be, because Van der Ven's massive. They're not very commanding. And when you actually look across that back line, I mean, that is what, if I'm Dyche, I'm saying at any opportunity, any free kicks, corners, play for free kicks and corners, just swing the ball in. The last thing, really, really quickly, because we've massively gone over time here. I'm so sorry. Midfield, we know Bentancur is out. I haven't seen personally, I don't know if you have, whether Basuma is available to play. Let's say he's not. He is? Is it?
He was only suspended for one game, so I don't see why he isn't.
Okay, fair enough. So if Basuma's available to play, for you, is it Bentancur out, Basuma in, or does he go with Bergvall or Gray?
Look, there's a reason why we gave him a one-game suspension, and against the team we should have won. He's going to be back in this starting lineup. Although I think Postecoglou is well aware of the pressure coming up. He knows it has to be 3 points, and I think he's going to go with experience with Basuma.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's all well and good talking about sticking Bergvall in a game like this. I'm all for it if Bergvall's playing alongside Basuma. I just don't think Sarr and Gray or Sarr and Bergvall, I don't think there's enough there. And again, what we talked about earlier with the leadership. Dave, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Just quickly, Spurs versus Everton. Give me a score prediction.
Oh, man. Do you know what? I'm going to go Tottenham 2-0 again. Eventually, I'll be right. I will get the clean sheet. I do hope to see an improvement. I do worry about set pieces and corners. However, I think we're going to have a hungry, motivated squad looking to put the Leicester result right. So hopefully that's what we see. Thank you very much, Sav. I really enjoyed these.
I'll tell you what, I'll go 2-1 so that I can be wrong and you can get your clean sheet when it is 2-0. Guys, girls, please get over to the Irish Hotspur. You know where he lives, not his home address. You know where his YouTube channel lives. Please go over there. Please subscribe. Subscribe to me. I'll be back later tonight. Just letting you know now, there will be no live watch along from me tomorrow. So go and watch the Irish Hotspur. I'm guessing you're doing one. I won't be doing one tomorrow purely because I'm going to the father-in-law's down by the seaside. So I'll be watching the game on my phone and being called unsociable, but I can't do a watch-along.
Not your tan.
Yeah, something like that, man. Something like that. I'm just putting in the brownie points with a wife. Take care, everyone. Thanks very much. Leave your comments in the chat. Please like, please subscribe, and be nice. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.